12.1.0, the update comes out like the same week that I actually created the X-Plane 11 versus 12 review. So here's my thoughts again. All right, first things first, this is my opinion. The things that I have to say about X-Plane 12 versus 11 or just 12 that's what I think. It's from my experience. You may have a different experience, in which case I would love to hear what your experience is and how you got the experience that you have. That's what my comments section is for. Please go use it and tell me what your experience is and how you got to have your experience, whether negative or positive. Now, right now I'm looking at the I'm sorry, I'm not looking at weather. I'm looking at the release notes, the patch notes, or whatever, the change log, just different things here. I'll leave a link for this. Definitely go check this out. I'm not going to go through every single thing here. To be honest, what we talked about in last week's video, if you didn't see that, I'll leave a link up here. Go check that out, okay? Go check it out. It's a little bit longer, but it was a pretty well-rounded vantage point of my thoughts on X-Plane 11 versus X-Plane 12. And to be honest, even after this update for 12.1.0 came out, which I just realized, I think it was yesterday, I started seeing rumblings about it, and then I was like, oh, let's go get that. And then I figured out how to actually make the install. You have to click the little box, the tick box, when you're making your update, when you're using the X-Plane 12 installer. You have to check the box for the beta, okay? But once you do that, it'll download, and then you can install it, it'll update, and then you can go use it. So I went in, played around with it, and really just looked for the main things that really were an issue for me, which was one, the performance of the aircraft or the flight characteristics. Did it feel like an actual aircraft, or did it feel like I was flying a paper airplane? And to be honest, it still flies like a paper airplane. I really just still cannot get past that. Personally, the cockpits, everybody's talking about, oh, the cockpit's dark. I can't fly like this, apparently. That's a big issue. Some cockpits, I had the RV-10, and it loaded up, and that one was kind of light. That one was kind of light if you turn the lights on. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst. But I'm also using a physical panel, so most of the time, I'm not staring at it on the monitor anyway, so it really didn't matter all that much to me. I could see where it would be an issue if that's all you have to look at, though. So there was that. The clouds, I actually didn't mind the clouds. The clouds actually look pretty good. That used to be an odd game changer for me. It was like, I can't deal with the clouds. I did not see any issue. The Minecraft clouds, they look pixelated. They just looked funny, like nobody cared or gave it any attention. I think that they're really starting to come together on that. The graphics still look great. I didn't have any issues with that. Some of the textures, like the baseline textures, before they start adding actual good graphics, look like absolute crap. Like if you go out into the middle of nowhere and you're flying, or even if you're just slightly outside of town, you might look at the ground and go, that looks like a crappy texture with no resolution to it at all, even if you're up close to it. And you can kind of tell it looks like they built the good stuff on top of the old bad stuff. It's a little bit odd, but whatever. The water, I took a couple flights, went over some water patches. I didn't go over Lake Michigan or oceans or anything, but I went over a few lakes because there's enough lakes in Michigan where I fly a lot that it really doesn't matter. So not a huge deal. I didn't see anything game changing. It looked like they put some shadows in there. Nothing to write home about in my thoughts, really. It wasn't like the end of the world that, okay, they had to go out and make changes to the way the water looked. It really didn't make a huge difference to me because I'm flying mostly IFR, and I want to, the clouds matter, the way that it feels matters, the way that the GPS works matters, because I want to get out there and fly GPS approaches. I want to use the G5. I need to be able to trust the G5. I need to be able to trust the Garmin GNS 530 and the 430. And guess what? I can't. I just couldn't. And that was, besides the performance characteristics, between the flight characteristics, flying, it felt like a paper airplane. I'm not flying that in the clouds. I'm just not. And the GPS that doesn't know where I'm at, it either doesn't know where I'm at, or it just locks me into place and says, nope, this is where you're at for the entire flight. Even though I'm halfway across the state of Michigan, it still thinks I'm in the same place. Even when I dial up, the direct airport to where I want to go, and I'm flying direct to that airport, the only way that I knew it was going direct to that airport is because I pulled up Navigraph, and that one did know where I was. It did show me on the moving map where I was, and that was great. I was glad to see that it had half an idea of what was going on, where I was at. So I'm using the onboard Laminar Research GPS, the 530 and the 430, to rely on making LPV or nav approaches, or to dial up a radio frequency or a VOR frequency or something, and the G5 needle goes in a completely different direction. I'm going this way, but the GPS is pointing in this direction on the G5. I can't do it. I would still go back to X-Plane 11. I've seen people talking about, oh, this is great. It's such a smooth ride. This is amazing. In, some Facebook groups. And I'm like, how? Like, does it look amazing? Yeah. Is it smooth? No. Could you go out and rely on instrumentation to get you from point A to point B? Not in my experience, but if you have a different experience, let me know. Use the comments section and tell me what your experience looks like, because I want to know. I want to see what this looks like from your angle. Maybe it's user error. I've played around with it. The GPS has always worked in X-Plane 11, and so I don't know why it's acting the way that it is. So those are my gripes. Definitely go through and check out the release notes for the beta 1. Again, this is a beta. If you guys download this, know that you're downloading a bag of issues that you are testing for Laminar Research, okay? So maybe this says beta 1, 12.1.0. Maybe this doesn't start coming together until 12.2.0. Why that long? I don't know, because we've been out here yelling from the top of our lungs, these are the things that suck. These are the things you need to fix. These are the things that need to be better. And they still, like somebody said in my comments the other day, I saw it. They said, they're still not going to fix all these things that we're talking about, all these things that we're yelling about, specifically the dark cockpits. And guess what? You were right. You were right, dude. They didn't. At least not yet. This isn't even a public release. I mean, it's public enough. Anybody that clicks on the box to download the public beta or the beta can get this publicly if they're man enough, woman enough to deal with the beta features. I personally, if I were going to go do an instrument flight, it wouldn't be with 12. If I just wanted to go screw around, play it, kind of see how it's working, yeah, I'll fire up 12. I had a good time. But it was more, it was annoying. I couldn't get it to a point where I was happy enough to actually go use this in a way that I was happy with. So those are my thoughts. I hope that you guys have found this in some way helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave them. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on the 12.1.0 update. And hopefully we'll have more stuff to talk about on this coming up, because there's plenty in these change logs. I could probably make even a few more videos about some of these specifics, okay? So I'll catch up with you guys. Take care.